There is a lot of talk about mythology being top tier in power scaling. After a couple of weeks or even 2 months, I took the time to analyze the cosmology of Hindu mythology to reach a conclusion about its power system. First, I want to let you know that within Hindu cosmology we will talk about two different worlds, the material world and the spiritual world. I will mainly start by explaining to you about the material world, the world where we humans live. The material world is, contrary to what Akara says, something real because it is the field where the spiritual evolution of the human being takes place. In Hindu mythology, the material world is located in the ocean known as the Brahmajyoti Ocean, ocean of the abyss or the heart of the universe. This ocean is associated with the creation and preservation of the physical world. The Brahmajyoti is believed to be the ocean in which Brahman, the supreme cosmic principle, in the form of Vishnu rests during the cycle of creation. In this ocean lies the material world, which includes the earth and the realms of the physical universe. Also, in some Hindu cosmological interpretations, the material world is contained within the Brahmanda, the cosmic egg, which floats in the Brahmajyoti Ocean. This ocean is also described as the place where worlds are born and die, according to the cosmic cycles of samsara. Devi Loka, material world. From the stage of conception, our life begins in the womb of a mother. Then we are born and later we experience the immense creation on what we call Earth. At different stages of life, we are exposed to different atmospheres that help us sustain our growth in life. As a result of this presence and these conditions, life manifests even more. Otherwise, life only withers away. The principle does not apply only to us humans. It is the same even at the highest levels of the universe, cosmos, and galaxies, or at the lowest levels of a small ecosystem in a pond. A divine intelligence has molded this nature of life with care, just as a parent would offer love and care to its offspring. This divine intelligence is known as Adi Shakti, the first energy, from which all creation manifests in all its diversity. The rishis, who are said to be spiritually evolved souls, discovered that the invisible forces behind the cosmos had created life in such a way. They discovered this during their deep meditation sessions and then recorded it in the scriptures, only to pass it on as mythological stories so that everyone can understand it. This is an ongoing process. Every time someone delves into higher intelligence, they update the existing knowledge and pass it on. How was Devi Loka created? Eons of centuries ago, two powerful fields, Purusha and Prakriti, emerged from Para-Brahman, which then became independent. Purusha continued to grow in potency and began to disturb creation. Prakriti then absorbed the core of Purusha. However, Purusha continued to grow and spread throughout creation. However, the core began to interact with Prakriti and formed new fields of light. More lights were added to the existing field in Para-Brahman. Then, after further interactions and manifestations, 7 more new fields would be generated. Later, these 7 new fields interacted with the 2 fields to form an integral unit, and they grew in strength. Their potency also disturbed creation with instability, and then Mula Brahman, the primordial intelligence, intervened and created 14 different layers in the field. To ensure that instability would not be so prevalent, they divided them into 32,000 dimensions. The whole of this set is known as Devi Loka. According to the Rishis, Devi Loka is made up of 9 strong energy fields, arranged in 14 layers that are divided into 32,000 dimensions. Here it should be clarified that the 32,000 dimensions are not explained much. Although the higher dimensions, lokas, are considered more subtle and spiritual, they are not always described as completely transcendent in the sense of completely overriding or dominating the lower ones. Each loka has its purpose within the cosmic scheme, and their relationship is not always described as absolute hierarchy. In power scaling, a transcendent dimension is defined as a plane that operates on a completely higher level of reality, overriding the laws and limitations of the previous plane. This does not always apply directly to the Hindu lokas because, although the higher lokas are higher spiritually, they do not eliminate the existence or influence of the lower ones, as they are all part of an integral cosmic system. The lokas are not in a dominance competition. Each dimension has a specific role, from material experiences to spiritual realization. Thus, strictly based on dimensional transcendence, the lokas would need additional explanations or interpretations more aligned with that logic to apply them directly. Characteristics of Devi Loka. The 9 different energy fields are Prakriti, creative energy of the universe; Purusha, pure consciousness; Prakriti Samaya, harmonious union of creative and conscious energies; Stanakriti Kanda, various forms and manifestations of Prakriti; Prakriti Kanda, realm of nature and its elements; Pralaya Stana Nandini, divine goddess presiding over the dissolution and transformation of the universe; Prakriti Pralaya, dissolution and fusion with the primordial energy of creation; Prakriti Nila Brahmai, cosmic power of Prakriti in the form of the blue goddess; Purusha Nila Brahmai, conscious aspect of the universe in the form of the blue goddess. There are 7 other pillar-like structures in the cosmos, made of special light of Para Brahman, which provide the framework for Devi Loka, along with the 9 different fields. These pillars are in the form of elongated cones, of which 4 are aligned vertically and start from the boundaries of Para Brahman, and the remaining 3 are aligned horizontally. The main function of these 4 vertical pillars is to hold and maintain all the energies of Devi Loka in a single unit. When required, the 4 pillars also transmit the energies to other cosmos when it is necessary to maintain stability. In addition, they also maintain other aspects of different lokas in the cosmos. The 2 horizontal pillars manifest and radiate the quality of love through the loka, and the remaining 1 helps Devi to perform her action, oversee the functioning, and assist in the activities of creation, protection, and destruction. Different aspects of Adi Shakti. As we already know, Adi Shakti is the first form of creation, which forms the core of Devi Loka. The form can be expressed in different aspects, and each form represents certain characteristics. It can be said to be the individual intelligence that is perceived by spiritually evolved souls. So far, only the first 3 aspects, as described in history and ancient scriptures, are well known. According to the Rishis, there are 10 main aspects of Devi Mahagovri, Durga/Parvati, Mahalakshmi, Mahasarasvati, Mula Devi, Devi Brahmai, Tejas Brahmai, Swarupainai, Shakti Swarupainai, Devi Mangala, Mangala Adi Devi. Energies within Devi Loka. There are different energies within Devi Loka, the primary energy being that made of dark pink matter known as Vijnana. Throughout Devi Loka there are 2 special energies, the multiplying energy and the creative energy. They are of a lighter pink color and, with Vijnana, give a dark pink hue to the atmosphere. Mahameru. The shape of Devi Loka is similar to that of the Mahameru chakra. It is a 3-dimensional structure. Many ancient temples in India have this structure, and it is said to absorb energy from Devi Loka. If there is a 2-dimensional form of Mahameru, it is known as Sri Chakra, but it only connects with the softer energies of Devi Loka, while that of Mahameru Chakra attracts very strong energies. Life in Devi Loka. From the higher levels of Mula Brahman, creation becomes simpler. It may be that our life is the simplest to understand at present. Creation at the higher levels is complex and difficult to understand. However, the Rishis give us a simple explanation of life in Devi Loka. They say that the atmosphere is made of divine banana matter or matter of intellect, and that the cosmos radiates unconditional love. There are gems that are larger than our galaxies present in the cosmos of Devi Loka and can host more life and diversification. They also contain a great deal of energy from Devi Loka. The atmosphere also has innumerable transparent particles with various characteristics. One of them has a property that affects the intuition of the human system. There are other special energies that humans can access as well. Tantrics and siddhas try to connect with spiritual energies through their practice and gain supernatural powers. Souls are created in the core of Devi Loka and are filled with a special light in the core. Rishis say that 20% of the soul in the material cosmos comes from Devi Loka, and these souls have characteristics similar to those of Devi. According to them, souls in Devi Loka are filled with love and are connected to Devi all the time. The core may not be as diverse as our earth, but there is a very high form of life. There is no evil or negativity in Devi Loka. Souls live in casual bodies for specific reasons other than to experience creation. Their role is vital in the execution. The 7 layers of the universe in Hindu cosmology. The concept of the 7 layers of the universe, also called upatis or koshas, is framed within a broader vision of the cosmos that includes the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the universe. Here I explain each layer from the perspective of Hindu mythology and cosmology, integrating elements of sacred texts and traditional concepts. 1. Earth, Prithvi. The earth is considered the basis of material existence. In Hindu mythology, it is frequently personified as the goddess Bhumi Devi or Prithvi Mata, who sustains and nourishes all beings. This layer symbolizes the physical form of the universe, where earthly experiences take place. In the context of cosmology, it is the place where the lives of beings develop and karmic actions manifest. 2. Water, Apas. Water is essential to life and represents the emotional and fluid aspect of existence. In mythology, it is associated with various deities and is mentioned in creation myths, where primordial water is a crucial element before the earth appears. Water also symbolizes purification and the flow of life, reflecting the cycle of birth and death. 3. Fire, Tejas. Fire symbolizes transformation and energy. In Hindu mythology, it is related to the god Agni, who is considered the messenger of the gods and the representation of sacrifice and purification. Fire is seen as an element that transforms matter, symbolizing wisdom and spiritual enlightenment. Its role in rituals and pujas highlights its importance in the connection between humans and the divine. 4. Air, Vayu. Air is a symbol of vitality and movement. In Hindu cosmology, it is associated with Vayu, the god of wind, who represents the life force, prana, that animates all beings. Air is also connected to the idea of freedom and expansion, symbolizing the spiritual nature that transcends matter and connects beings to the universe. 5. Sky, Akasha. Sky, or space, is considered the essence that allows all other elements to exist. In mythology, sky is the realm of gods and spirits, and is often seen as the place where supreme knowledge resides. In Hindu cosmology, sky is linked to the concept of Akasha, the primordial element that contains all others and represents sound and vibration, being the medium through which the energies of the universe manifest. 6. Total energy, Shakti. Total energy, or Shakti, is the manifestation of divine power and the creative force that drives existence. In mythology, Shakti is represented by various goddesses, such as Durga and Kali, who symbolize the dynamic energy that gives life and sustains the universe. This layer reflects the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected through an underlying cosmic energy, which gives form and life to all things. 7. False ego, Ahamkara. The false ego, or Ahamkara, is a fundamental concept in Hindu philosophy that refers to the mistaken identification with the body and the mind. In cosmology, it is considered a layer that hides the true nature of the self. The Ahamkara is responsible for the illusion of separation and suffering, and is an obstacle on the path to self-realization. Overcoming the false ego is essential to attaining spiritual liberation. In Hindu cosmology, the material world, Prakriti, is not considered infinite in absolute terms, but is contained within Brahmanda, the cosmic egg, which is finite and limited by the aspects of creation, preservation, and destruction. The universe is limited within Brahmanda. According to the Puranas, the material universe is part of Brahmanda, which has a definite size. It contains multiple planetary systems, including the 14 Lokas, but everything is surrounded by elemental layers, water, fire, air, ether, etc., that limit its scope. The material world is subject to time, space, and cosmic cycles, kalpas, which implies that it is not infinite, as it has a beginning and an end. Although the universe is of finite size, this universe is reborn at the dawn of the following day of Brahma. The universe is recreated with the help of Vishnu, who provides the matter and energy necessary to form new worlds and living beings. This cycle of creation and destruction is repeated infinitely. The Karana Ocean, also known as Karana Sagara, is a concept present in Hindu mythology, especially in cosmological texts. This ocean is described as a vast primordial sea that contains the seed of creation and is a place of cosmic rest, generally associated with the state prior to the manifestation of the universe. Within the Bhagavata Purana, Hindu Puranic literature, it mentions that the Hindu timeline suggests that the Big Bang is not the beginning of everything, but only the start of a present cycle preceded by an infinite number of universes and followed by another infinite number of universes. Each universe is covered by 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, sky, the total energy and the false ego, each 10 times larger than the previous one. There are innumerable universes besides this one, and although they are unlimitedly large, they move like atoms in you. Therefore it is said that you are unlimited. Bhagavata Purana, June 16, 37. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, emerging from the casual ocean, the place of appearance of the first Purusaya Avatara, entered each of the separate universes, desiring to rest on the created transcendental water. Bhagavata Purana, February 10, 10. The number of universes appears to be uncountable, immeasurable, or incalculable according to the Puranic literature. Even if I could count all the atoms of the universe throughout time, I could not count all my opulences that I manifest within innumerable universes. Bhagavata Purana, November 16, 39. Multiple universes in Puranic literature. What am I? A small creature 7 spans of my own hand? I am enclosed in a pot-like universe composed of total material nature, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the pores of your body, just as dust particles pass through the openings of a window with mosquito screens. Bhagavata Purana, October 14, 11. Because you are unlimited, neither the lords of heaven nor even you yourself can ever attain the end of your glories. Countless universes, each wrapped in its own shell, are forced by the wheel of time to wander within you, like dust particles blowing in the sky. Bhagavata Purana 10.87.4. In the context of power scaling, the concept of dimensional transcendence could be applied to the notion that, from a Hindu spiritual perspective, the soul, or essential being, is seen as something that transcends the material world, as it is mentioned that the entire material world is just particles of dust living within us. If we compare this concept with the notions of power scaling in fiction or in power scaling, it could be said that a being that has achieved a full understanding of its spiritual nature, transcending the limitations of the physical world, would be in a higher dimension or state of existence that could be considered transcendent with respect to the material dimensions. Thus, in terms of power scaling, those who have achieved moksha or have understood the infinite nature of their soul, like spiritual beings in Hindu traditions, would be equivalent to entities that overcome physical limitations in the lower dimensions, i.e. the material world, reaching levels of power that escape the common understanding of material reality. In Hindu mythology, the spiritual world, or Lokas, is a plane or sphere that transcends the material world. It is generally described as a place where divine beings such as gods, sages, and liberated souls, moksha, reside. Unlike the material world, which is subject to time, space, and suffering, the spiritual world is associated with immortality, peace, and purity. One of the most prominent aspects of the spiritual world in Hindu tradition is that it is beyond physical and temporal limitations. There is believed to be a clear distinction between the material and spiritual planes, with beings such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma residing in various spiritual lokas such as Vaikuntha, residence of Vishnu, or Kailasa, residence of Shiva. Moksha, liberation. The ultimate goal of the soul is to free itself from the cycle of birth and death, samsara, and reach the spiritual world where the soul unites with the divine, losing all attachment to the material world. Vaikuntha and other lokas. Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, is a place without suffering or disease, in contrast to the material world. There are other lokas or divine realms where different deities and spiritual beings dwell. The soul in its pure state, in the spiritual world, the soul exists without the contamination of ego, desire, and suffering, and can experience a direct relationship with the divine. In Hindu cosmology, the spiritual world is considered to be outside the scope of spacetime as we experience it in the material world. Spacetime, as we understand it on the physical plane, is subject to creation and destruction, governed by laws of causality and change. In contrast, the spiritual world, especially in places like Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, or Kailasa, the abode of Shiva, is described as eternal, unchanging, and unaffected by the limitations of time or space. The Bhagavata Purana and other Vedic texts indicate that there is no such thing as old age, death, or suffering in the spiritual world, as it is a plane outside the cycles of creation and destruction that govern the material world. Furthermore, liberated souls, muktas, who reach this plane transcend time, as their existence is no longer limited by the cycles of birth and death of samsara. From a philosophical perspective, the spiritual world is a state of pure existence, in which souls experience union with the divine, outside the restrictions of material spacetime. This aligns with the teachings of the Upanishads, which describe ultimate reality as Brahman, an absolute principle that is beyond time, space, and all. At the apex of this spiritual world is Paravyoma, the transcendental heaven, a plane where the highest entities reside. This is a realm without suffering, aging, or death. In this space, time and space do not behave as they do in the material world. Here, beings experience eternal peace and the company of the divine. Beyond Paravyoma is Vaikuntha, the realm of Vishnu, the preserver of the universe. Vaikuntha is a place of absolute perfection, where devotees live in the eternal presence of Vishnu, enjoying a life without suffering. It is a realm where divine beings live in harmony, with peace and purity being the predominant forces. However, even beyond Vaikuntha lies the highest realm of the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavana, the eternal abode of Krishna. Goloka is the place where pure love and devotion manifest in their most intense form. It is the realm closest to the essence of divine love, where liberated souls enjoy Krishna's presence and surrender to him in endless love. To reach these higher realms, souls must overcome the cycle of reincarnations through spiritual practices such as Bhakti Yoga, which involves devotion and surrender to divinity, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge and wisdom, and Karma Yoga, which teaches one to act without attachment and in harmony with the divine. The ultimate goal of every being in the material world is to attain liberation, or moksha, which allows one to enter these higher planes and unite with the divine in an eternal way. Those who attain these realms never return to the material world, enjoying the peace and perfection that only the spiritual world can offer. The Hindu spiritual world is a vast cosmos, organized into multiple planes of existence, each deeper and more transcendental than the last. From the impersonal light of Brahman to the personal realms of Vishnu and Krishna, each level offers a purer vision of reality, uniting souls with the divine in an eternity of peace and love. Brahmajyoti is a concept in Hindu philosophy that refers to the spiritual light or effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord, Ka. It is considered to be the impersonal manifestation of Para-Brahman, which is a pure, undifferentiated, and activityless form of existence. This concept is found in texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is described as the brilliant illumination of the spiritual sky. It is seen as an essence that envelopes all beings in matter, and is, in a sense, the point of origin and fusion of all things in the universe. For Brahman/Lord Krishna creates the Brahmajyoti, which encompasses all the material and spiritual worlds and those within them in the philosophy of Hinduism, especially in the teachings of Vedanta and in texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna is considered to be the ultimate source of all existence, including the Brahmajyoti. The Brahmajyoti is described as the spiritual light or cosmic energy emanating from the supreme reality, which is Brahman. In this context, Krishna is seen as the personal form of God, transcending the impersonal aspect of Brahman. Krishna is understood to be the original cause of everything, and his divine form is the active principle that gives life and personality to the creation. Therefore, Ka and the Brahmajyoti are interrelated, where Ka is the background, or the source, of that spiritual light. For Brahman, according to the descriptions, he is described as transcendental to all concepts, limitations, space-time, duality, dimensions, universes, and is the ultimate reality. Above all creation, he has no attributes and limitations. He transcends the material and spiritual worlds. The material world contains infinite universes followed by infinite universes where within them there are finite universes with an infinite cycle of creation and destruction. The human being is mentioned that the entire material world is within him as particles, making him transcendental so that he can go to the spiritual world. The spiritual world is seen as irrelevant and is transcendent to the material world since it is outside of time-space and all types of concepts and is where the gods live who transcend the entire material world. Within the spiritual and material world there are 7 cosmic oceans. All are infinite. Para-Brahman transcends all gods to both worlds, material and spiritual. He is said to be an inconceivable and unlimited being beyond any understanding. Surely many will not like the final result because they tend to think that cosmologies are unlimited in level when they have certain limitations or do not meet the requirements of the scale of power. That is why I summarize my conclusion to this. The Brahmajyoti is that energy that separates the spiritual world from the material one. It is mentioned as infinite, eternal, and transcendental, and it is nothing more than a simple energy of the Brahman and immaterial energy. It represents the transcendental form of the Brahman. It illuminates the entire universe but cannot be understood by humans. The entire material and spiritual world is only an illusion, Maya, of the Brahman projected by the mind of the same. The Brahman transcends all that. Everything that exists and what does not exist. Everything that is experienced in the material and spiritual world. Eternal and infinite, and on top of that Brahman contains the Para-Brahman that goes beyond the Brahman. They are the same. But the Para-Brahman is described as a reality that goes beyond the Brahman. The source and foundation of everything. It is the absolute consciousness beyond all concepts of duality and transcendence. Brahman and Para-Brahman, despite being the same being, are understood as aspects of the same infinite reality. Brahman, the cosmic manifestation. And for Brahman, the absolute source of everything. The material world would be on a scale of uni plus, since the 32,000 dimensions are vague and do not give much context to be considered superior. The Karana Ocean is of a high multiversal level because it contains infinite universes, each one finite with an infinite cycle of creation and destruction. The spiritual world would be on a low outerversal level because of the transcendence of the material world in terms of concepts, infinite dimensions, numbers, everything there is infinite and eternal. The Brahmajyoti is outerversal because it transcends the entire spiritual and material world. It is mentioned as infinite and eternal, transcendental, superior to a conventional one, and for Brahman it also transcends all of the above, mentioning it is described as a transcendence equals superior, infinite and eternal, with enough context to give it a high outer level. I hope you liked the video. Maybe I forgot a couple of things in this video. I just tried to show what was necessary so as not to make this video so long. I would like to know your opinion about this video. See you.